In this video, we take this old go-kart and fix it up, take it out and thrash it, and then even crash it. So let's get started. So today in the workshop we've got this ratty old go-kart to get going. Now my brother has brought this for his kid on Facebook Marketplace, and it needs a bit of work. I think he only paid like 50 bucks for it, didn't pay a lot for it, and he's brought it over to me to fix up for him. So we've got a few issues here. Now this thing has been, while it was in his driveway and before he had time to even look at it, this thing's been driven over by somebody. Somebody in a big full drive came into his driveway and drove over it. So they broke the steering wheel, so we have to put on a new steering wheel, which I've got one here, that'll fit. Rearrange this brake so that it will fit onto that steering wheel. The rim on this tyre, they squished that when they drove over it, so that rim, you probably can't quite see that there, but that rim's all bent out of shape, so we're going to try and get that back. See if all the tyres hold air, and of course check the engine, make sure the engine and clutch and everything's working alright, lubricate the chain, stuff like that, and check the brakes. Now petrol, that tank you can't really see in there, but that tank is bone dry, so we can put some petrol in it. Have a quick look at the oil. And nope, there's no oil in it, well, not very much anyway. So we'll put some oil in it, some petrol in it, and then we'll jack up the back end and see if we can get it to start and see how she runs. Well, I've put petrol and oil in it, now we'll see if it starts. Doesn't sound very good. Won't run without the choke. Well, it sounds like it's got a rod knock, but the clutch is very sloppy. I'll bring you around and show you that in a second. I think it might be the clutch, so we'll take the clutch off and then try starting it again and see what the motor sounds like. But this clutch drum is very knocky. It's stuffed actually, so I think we'll take that off. We're definitely looking at a clutch for it, so let's get that off and then we'll see how the motor sounds. Just a 1/2 inch socket, spanner or whatever. We're going to use an impact, it's a bit easier to get these off. Come off easy enough. Let's take the chain off. Oops. I have to feed the chain off to get that sprocket off. There we go. Okay, it's still not running, so it's got a blocked jet, I think. It's not staying running, but the motor's fine. So let's see if we can unblock the jet. So it's not getting enough fuel. That's why it wants to run only with the choke. Oh, it's all a bit rusty. So if we clean the jets, I reckon they'll start to get enough fuel then. surprised that doesn't break off. It's really tight. Come on. That feels right. Now there's a jet up under here, on the top of the carburetor. It's just a little plastic thing that pushes in. That is your idle screw. And this little plastic jet, it just pushes in, so you just lever it out. There we go. That one's clear. So we'll pull the other one out of the float bowl. Clean that as well. Out of the carburetor, center of the carburetor. Get that screw to go. That's just a plastic screw too, so it's easy to cross the threads. There she goes, and we'll set the idle later. So let's turn petrol off. Take the float bowl off again. I mean, if this carburetor gives us too much grief, we'll just replace it. As I've said in previous videos, this is just a Honda clone, and they are so cheap for parts. It's not worth putting too much effort in. Just you know, go onto eBay and you can buy a carburetor for about $12 for one of these carburetors. Sometimes these though don't want to come out, like this one. This one's not going to play the game, I don't think. I'm not going to get at that screwdriver. Get up the screw so I can't get it out. Right, well, we'll try putting a cleaner in it. So I can't get the jet out. The jet doesn't want to come out because the head of the screw is all turned off. So I'll put some little tip cleaners here. Jet cleaners? Tip cleaners? Okay. That is clear. We'll see how she runs now. Put the bowl back on. Alright, let's see how she starts now and runs. Alright, stuff it. We'll change the carburetor. So we've tried cleaning the jets on this carburetor, but there's something very wrong with it. We're just going to change it out. And then we might put in a new spark plug as well. Change the oil. Alright, so that fuel hose was knackered. Got a new one. Make all the clamps. Take it back on. Took it off. And you'll snake that fuel hose down through there and through there. And then she seems a wee bit long. Trim it off. New clamp. Push on there. And then put on the new clamp. That goes in there. That goes there. Okay, we can put the tank bolts back in. Little gasket. That's unusual line. Choke the lever. Nice one here. Choke the lever goes there. Alright, we need those two nuts again. There. Where about the other one? Where is it? There it is. Okay, so petrol. Careful to on. While we're at it, with fitting the carburetor, we'll change the oil. There's a new spark plug in it as well. No issues. While it's running, change the spark plug. Doesn't look like it's had oil change for a while, pretty black. That spark plug is absolutely knackered. Other than the electrode. Oops, left on it. Didn't go in the oil. We've changed the carburetor, spark plug, oil. Let's see what happens this time. Running better anyway. A little bit of fine tuning, but she should be okay. So let's see if we can get this broken old steering wheel off. Sweet, 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 sweet. Oh, that one, the nut's not welded. So, pinch that, nice and close. So. Right. Steering wheel on. It's a new old stock steering wheel I had left over from my Jeep project, where I built my Jeep. Okay. Now, next problem we've got is this brake. As you can see, the brake was attached to part of the steering wheel, and the steering wheel obviously is destroyed. And I don't want to cut into this steering wheel to attach that. Managed to heat up the aluminium on this clamp with blowtorch, bend it out, wrap it round the steering wheel and bend it back. It was had to be quite delicate because I obviously didn't want to break it, so that's why I didn't film it. I was ginning about there for a while. Okay. It's giving us brakes, but I think it could be a bit tighter. So get a bit more out of it. There we are. Good. The next nasty thing we're going to try and repair is this damaged rim. I've got a tyre lever here. I'm going to try and drive that rim back into shape. I need a much bigger hammer. Right, here. Oh, that's right. Use extreme amounts of water. Now, try to shape back to it. Okay, that's terrible. Well, as most of you guys probably guessed, there's no way that tyre was going to seal on that damaged rim, so I put a tube in it. I had an old tube there, so plug that in. Now we just hope all the other tyres air up okay. So the problems with this go-kart just keep coming and coming. So we fixed that rim and we put a tube in that tyre, and now the rear left-hand tyre had a tube in it already, which has had a couple of punctures. So I've put some patches on that, and we'll put that back together. The other two tyres seem to have aired up okay. So we'll finish this tyre and put it back on, and hopefully she'll be right. Be on to the next job. Okay, the next problem we've got with this go-kart is there's no spring-loaded throttle return. Someone's just used some elastic there, so I want to put on a proper spring throttle return. So we'll cut that off, get rid of it so the kids don't get tangled in it, and go to my box of springs and see what we've got. A piece of elastic at this end as well on the Carburettor throttle arm. So I've put a return spring, quite a heavy one, on the throttle arm back to, just clipped it onto the blower housing there, and that works pretty well. That pulls it back, pulls the pedal back. That's that problem fixed. The next issue is there's no kill switch for the go-kart. I think once upon a time it had spotlights down on the front here, and it had, you know, some switches, there's electric start, and that's all just been ripped out. So I've made up this wire with this red kill switch, which I'm going to drill in and put in the steering wheel here. There's not much of a turn to it, so there won't be any risk of the wire getting tangled up. There's the new stop switch installed. So I've used a if you can see it there, 4-core cable, so that at a later date I can probably fit a start switch just here, so a green one maybe, that you push to activate the solenoid and starter, and then just run the cable under the seat and around the back to the motor there. Perfect. Alright, the next thing we want to do is replace this clutch. She's pretty flogged out. We need to determine what size the chain is, so we can order the right clutch for it. So, we're going to measure the pitch of the chain, which is the distance between the pins. Let's turn that on. Distance between the centers of two pins on an inner link, and then go to my handy dandy little chart here, and we've got around about 12 millimeters, which is ½ inch. So it's either a 428, a 420, excuse me, or a 40 chain. They're all the ½ inch pitch chains. Now, we need to work out what between the inner plates are. So that's the roller diameter there. We'll give you that. So we can measure that. Just check that zeros. Okay, we can measure that just using this. What does that give us? 6.56, or there's about, well, we've got 6.35 is the 420, 428 7.9, so it's definitely not that, and the 40 7.9, so it's close to 635, so it's a 420 chain. Okay, so it's a 420 chain, so we need to order a 420 clutch. To fit, don't forget to measure your shaft diameter here before you order your clutch. You can actually see that clutch has been getting really hot. It's actually blued the shaft there. She's got really hot. So no, yeah, we'll change that out. Alright, well, the sprocket and clutch is here. So we're almost ready for a test run. One thing I forgot to mention when I was telling you how to order these sprockets and clutches was just to check the amount of teeth. This is a 10 tooth, but obviously you can affect the gearing and whatnot if you order the wrong one. So I'll line up the keyway. Come on, there we go. Put the bolt back in. Sounds a lot smoother, doesn't it? Alright, we'll put the chain back on and then we'll go for a test ride. Okay, she's all ready for a test run. So we've replaced 2 inner tubes and repaired 2 punctures. We've changed the carburettor. We've repaired the throttle linkages. We've put a new steering wheel, new stop switch, and a new clutch and drive sprocket. She's ready to go. Let's have some fun. Runs nice now, nice idle. I've got my Mario Kart approved safety equipment. Have a go. Wow, she vibrates so much that my eyeballs are spinning in their sockets, but wow, it's fun. It's really got some Screwing up some pickup. Awesome power slides! Actually handles really well! I'm still alive, although probably be a bit sore in the morning. Let's go for it! Let's have some fun! Woo! This thing is an absolute bag of fun, and one of the quickest ways to get yourself killed in terrain like this. Caught in some fencing wire, I have to pull out. Look out, Molly! Let's open a right up! Full power! That thing is a hoot. It's meant for kids, but she really flies, and what an absolute laugh. Well, that's a POS that's probably not a POS any longer. Thanks so much for watching, guys. See you in the next one. I'm going back to have some more fun. Look out, buddy! Well, we got a Jeep in the way. Round the gate. Pretty garden. It actually handles really well. It's a great little go-kart. Well, that was a lot of fun.